Take two. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I just had to very quickly message Dricus to notify him that we're going to do this live chat. So here he is. Yeah, so as I mentioned, here he is. Dricus is currently 2-0 in the... Oh, he's there straight away. Hello, Dricus.
Here we go.
How are things with you today, Dricus?
Oh man, amazing, amazing. Geez, sorry for that. A little bit of confusion.
The confusion's all on my end. We've not been able to get the Zoom to work, so I do apologise. The last thing you need
Ah,
is stress about Zoom on fight week, so my apologies.
man, no worries at all. No worries at all.
First and foremost, Dricus, it's been a year since we last spoke, so how's life been in the life of Dricus Du Plessis over the last 12 months?
Ah, it's been amazing, man. Things have been great. Training's been going well. Business has been going well. Everything is just been great. I mean, like I said, I can't even believe it's a year that's passed. It felt like it just went by in a day. It feels like I just fought the other day. So I mean, I've prepped for 3 fights over this year. Only had none of them actually happened. So, I mean, the preparation was there, but it's good to be finally. Let's fingers crossed we get in the cage on Saturday and we actually get there.
I'm going to be quite honest. I don't think I've ever seen someone so early in their career. I know you had the debut against Perez, but I've never seen someone have back-to-back fights on International Fight Week. That's a bit of a strange one in and of itself. So what's it
Yeah,
like? The early part of your career is on the biggest event of the year.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, firstly, for Conor McGregor caught the International Fight Week. Now again, doesn't get any better, man. That speaks for itself. It means the company likes. I'm a company man. They like what I'm doing, and I mean that's this whole fight card is just all the exciting fighting. That's what I want to be. I mean, I want to be exciting fight. I want to go out there and give the people proper fights, and this just shows. And it's incredible for me to be able to fight on this amazing event. I mean, just as a fan, not even as a fighter, to be part of this massive event, it's insane.
I don't know what happened with your kinds of, if you've been previously offered contracts with the UFC, but prior to you joining, your kind of pre-UFC career reminds me a little bit of Yuri Prohaska in the sense of
Oh yeah.
getting the experience on the likes of KSW and EFC and all of those big fights that you had prior to getting here. How well do you think those fights prepared you for these big moments?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the KSW fights, the crowds were massive. They were bigger than the crowds I'm fighting up in front of right now here in
Mm.
Vegas. I mean, they had crowds up to 60,000. I fought at Wembley Stadium twice. That's 30,000 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, and that's hostile. That's a hostile environment. They are very passionate about their fighters and they are very passionate about the sport. So for me, the more people, the better. The bigger the crowd, whether they're with me, against me. This is what I live for, the entertainment. And like you said, it's something that you have to get used to it. You have to mentally prepare yourself for that. And we are at a space now where that's past us. We've done all that. The pressure right now is performing. The crowds, the lights, all that stuff. That's just adds on to performing even better. And the stakes being as high as it is with the International Fight Week, I 100% believe it's gonna, like always, bring the better out of me. And absolutely, the EFC starting the prelims there up until becoming a double division champ. By the time I was double division champ, there were stadiums with 10,000 people, and being the favorite in my hometown, and then going over to Europe and being not the favorite at all, and fighting in front of 30,000 people who doesn't want you to win. I've seen it all before the UFC. Obviously, the UFC is the apex of fighting sports, but I've been prepared.
100%. I did want to ask about there. Obviously, your opponent, Brad Tavares, he fights and he lives in Las Vegas. You obviously had to make the trip over in what is quite an arduous flight, I presume, from South Africa. So, is there a disadvantage there going in? The guy that you're fighting will probably sleep in his own bed the night before.
Yeah, man. I mean, nothing sleeps like a hotel bed to me. I love the hotel beds. It's amazing. I mean, even when I'm back home, when I used to fight in the UFC, even if it was in my hometown, I wouldn't sleep at my house. I want the change. I wouldn't sleep at my normal bed because it's not a normal day. People want to just go out about it as normal. It is not normal. I'm not gonna be normal on fight day. I am a vicious killer on fight day, but
Mm.
I am a normal human being the rest of the time. on fight day, I go out and I have one thing on my mind, that is being kill or be killed, to win or die trying. So things shouldn't be the same. I'm not going to go about my day, see my family, everybody the same as I always do. No, I want to wake up in a different environment. It is burning the boats. I'm in a different environment because I'm going to put myself in that environment when I get in that cage. So I enjoy traveling and fighting and living out of the hotel. I love it. I love it every moment about it. And as a matter of fact, I think I have an advantage. I always make sure my team is very professional. I have great people working on it, that we arrive on the right time to adjust 100% completely with the weight and the time zones. And then, of course, I'm coming from altitude more than 3 times the altitude of Vegas. So when it comes down to it, I have the advantage. I have the altitude advantage. It's going to help me so much once we get past the second round.
100%. I did want to mention there, and I think over 200 people watching this video will agree. But one thing I noticed from you, Dricus, and it's something that I kind of looked at preparing to speak again, was you're very active on social media in the lead up to a fight. You're constantly putting stuff on your Instagram stories, on your main Instagram. I saw you posted earlier saying media day done. Presumably, I'm one of the last people you'll speak to on media day. But you really seem to like enjoy and embrace fight week. Can you kind of agree? Is that something that you would agree with? And if so, can you kind of put into words what a fight week is for you, if you like?
Yeah, absolutely. I think no, it's part of the game. It's part of the game, and it's something that I realized very early in my career, that this is a blessing, not a curse. It's a fight week. It's not an obligation. You have the opportunity to be in fight week. You have the opportunity to speak to media. You have the opportunity to reach out to fans and give your take on it, because people love this sport and I love this sport. I'm talking about the reason why I am approaching it the way I am is I was a massive fight fan way before I was a fighter. And what I wanted to see, we create heroes, we create action figure heroes out of these fighters. That's how I've always been when I was a fan and only a fan. And I'm trying to hear your hero speak to you, to hear what he's thinking, how he's feeling. Fans appreciate that much more than a lot of fighters, I think, actually realize. I think people love to know what's up because people don't really know. They understand that there's a way to be made. They understand this guy here, he's on TV speaking to the media, but they don't understand exactly. And I want to show, like, humanize it and show people that what it's like. And it's amazing. I mean, I'm living my dream. I love every moment of it. And I see it as a privilege more than an obligation to be able to be here in Fight Week. I'm in Las Vegas, International Fight Week, any fan's dream. And I'm fighting on the biggest part of the year. It's a massive privilege for me. And I just love and embrace all the opportunities we have as fighters, and giving back to the fans and the sport that's giving me everything I have.
Wow, that's a fantastic answer. I wasn't quite expecting that, to be honest, but you put it a lot better than I ever could have. Let's talk about your opponent, Brad Tavares. Obviously a bit of a veteran of the game, but in the UFC, kind of in the big leagues, if you like, maybe a little bit longer than you. But what does he do well as a fighter, and what are kind of his strengths, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Brad has had 20 plus UFC fights. And if you look at his record, he's only really lost against the top guys in the world. He's an incredible fighter. I can't take that away from him, ever will. I really actually said it. The UFC is not doing me any favors getting into this top 15, fighting a guy like Brad Tavares. But I wouldn't have had it any other way. The Kelvin Gastelum fight, I would believe, would have been a little bit of an easier fight for me, just in terms of the styles and the size difference and everything. But now they're really giving me that test, the same test they gave the champion. 3 fights in, giving me probably the hardest gatekeeper in the top 15 right now. And I'm ready to climb this hurdle and perform. And I think my opponent is an incredible fighter, but I do believe it's going to bring the best out of me. And it's going to force me to step up my game. And it has. Fighting a guy like Brad Tavares, my training camp, everything had to be perfect. And fighting him literally means he's a veteran of the game. He's not changing his style. He never has. He never will. Well, he's not going to do it now. He's 35 years old, 34, 35 years old. I think he's set in his ways, and his style is what he does. He does it great. He always has good cardio. He's always in shape. He always comes to fight. He's extremely tough. He has a traditional striking style. He's not going to shoot for a takedown. He's not a very offensive wrestler. He's not going to try and do that. He's going to stand and he's going to try and bang it out like he does. And we've seen what he struggles with, and we've seen what he's good at. So, I mean, he is an incredible athlete. You're not number 12 in the world for no reason, and he has fought the best of the best. But unfortunately, I just don't think that's going to be enough. I think he's set in his ways, and he's been around for so long that he's not going to change that now. And there's a new generation coming through.
100%. You mentioned there about, he's fought the best of the best. His last 3 losses have come against Shabazian, Whittaker, and Adesanya. He doesn't lose to chumps. But so how much of a big scalp would this be on your record? How big of a win would this be for you personally?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you take those names, number 1 and number 2 in the world, and then a guy that was in the top 10 and had a bit of a bad run, but exactly like it. That's like you're saying. This guy is. I'm fighting the cream of the crop, and this is where I belong. And I can't believe that we are actually on the prelims. But if you look at the fight above us, any fight can be a main event on this card. This fight will be absolutely amazing. It's going to show that I am where I belong. It's my 3rd fight in the UFC, fighting the likes of Brad Tavares, fighting the top of the division. And I think this is going to finally put these guys on notice. It's like, we've already known it, but now the world will know, and now the rest of the division is going to take notice.
Are you surprised that you're getting this top 15 opportunity so quick into your UFC career? I mean, a lot of people maybe need a couple, or sometimes from the UFC's perspective, need a couple more to kind of, maybe not ease themselves in, but to kind of acclimatise to the UFC. But you've had two wins, and all of a sudden you're getting a crack at a guy at the top end of the division. Are you surprised this opportunity is coming as quick as it is?
No, actually, I'm not. UFC, they kind of steer you in a way you want to be steered, I believe. So what you ask for, what you do. And after my 2nd fight, I said, I'm not going to fight these killers for the money I'm getting in my first contract. Not that I'm complaining about the money. It was just first contract. It doesn't make sense. And they said, if you want to fight the top guys, we are willing to give you a new contract. And I said, well, let's do it. And that was all she wrote. I was ready to make that next step. It was a little bit long. It took me a little bit longer to get into UFC since I'm in Africa, fighting in Africa. So it was kind of hard to get myself out there. As an American, if you get 5 wins in a row, you're getting to the UFC.
Yeah.
I was on an 11-fight win streak, 3 world titles, and eventually got my shot. And I believe all that experience, traveling, fighting, KSW is a massive show, fighting in the EFC, fighting international goals, multiple international guys on the highest level, title fights. I have the experience, and that's why I believe I'm ready to jump up a little bit quicker than most of the guys can, because I've seen it all. I've fought outside of the UFC. I've fought in the highest level and some of the best guys in the world.
Yeah, 100%. I know there's a little bit, or certainly when Gastelum pulled out, there was a little bit of perhaps fire on your end. I think if memory serves, there was a quote about, I can't remember the quote, but something along the lines of he faked the injury or something like that. So is the Gastelum fight one that you want in your career, and maybe can you kind of recount what happened there and maybe some of the emotions that you felt when Gastelum pulled out of that bout?
Yeah, it's fight week. One gets emotional once so ready to go, and getting that massive opportunity and then getting it taken away from having the best fight, the best day that I can ask for, getting the fight with Gastelum, and then the next day now you're not getting a fight already in Jacksonville, all the travel, all the camp. That stung a little bit, and that you can obviously imagine how that upset me. And well, basically that was just a turn of events. So many stuff that worked out to not be in my favor. In terms of faking the injury, I don't think he faked an injury. I just think he didn't get injured in fight week. I think it was an injury he might have had, and he could have fought. He would have fought with the injury. That's why they asked for a new opponent, and he just. They looked at it, and the risk was just too big to take that fight when they don't have to. He needs a win. So I think there was this. I'm not saying he wasn't injured. He's obviously had his operation. I'm just saying that he could have decided not to take the fight anymore.
Yeah.
And you do what you got to do. You know, it was, I was just upset, you know, it was at my expense, but we don't know what situation he was in. So always good. I have mad respect for Kelvin Gastelum as an athlete. The stuff he's done, the fights he's put on, I'm a massive fan. But absolutely, I want that fight. After this fight, that'll be a great fight. I know he's coming back. He said 6 months or something like that. End of the year, November, December. I'm not sure. That'll be a great fight. Right now, I'm focused on Brad Tavares, 100%. But after this, the Gastelum fight, I guess you can say there's no bad blood at all, but there's history, and that makes for a good cause to have a fight.
When you look at this top 15 middleweight division, you're obviously not in it at the moment, but come Saturday night, you very, very well could be, or in your mind definitely will be. But when you look at it, there's quite a nice balance between strikers and grapplers. There seems to be quite an even playing field. And I guess what I want to know is, do you, from here on out, should you get the win over Tavares, would you prefer striker versus striker matchups against some of the strikers in the division? Or do you like the to and fro of the striker grappler matchup a little bit?
Oh man, at this stage, like you can see how the game is changing. Like you're saying, you have different styles. But look at the guys who's the most successful. Right now, wrestlers obviously have a massive advantage, but the game has changed so dramatically that if you say, I like to fight a striker, or if I like to fight a wrestler, or I like to strike, or I like to wrestle, or I like to grapple, you're taking a step in the wrong direction. How the game is changing right now is the guys that can do everything. You see the level of striking. If to take a guy like Prochazka, for example, he went and he grappled the grappler, and he could strike with the grappler, and he could wrestle with the wrestling. He can manage all of those elements, and that's where the champions are going. That's where champions are going these days. That's what's going to. MMA has evolved so much that MMA fighters are the future of the sport, not wrestlers, not grapplers, not strikers, but MMA fighters.
Very much a striker
so for
versus
me, honestly, I have no choice. My choice is you give him, I'll fight him.
Of course. But there's very much a striker versus grappler matchup on this card in your division, in Uriah Hall, Andre Muniz. I'd like to know your prediction on that fight and how you see that going.
Yeah, I mean, Andre Muniz is an incredible grappler. I've prepared for him. We were supposed to fight when I got my surgery, my shoulder surgery. Great fighter. I think very, very. He's one of those guys that almost has you can see he's a proper grappler. He's not a striker at all.
Yeah.
He has very limited wrestling, but he does what he needs to get his opponent to the floor, get that body lock, and he gets the back. And I honestly believe, I don't know if Uriah Hall has the capability to keep him off. He has showed that he's good at doing that in the past. But I believe Andre Muniz has a lot of momentum, and if he does grab a hold, that will be the end of Uriah Hall's night. I think if Muniz gets him, just gets a hold of him, gets that body lock, I think it's going to be all she wrote. And yeah, well, I mean, if he can't get Uriah Hall to the floor, it's going to be a long night for Muniz.
Yeah, it feels like one of those fights where wherever it takes place, you'll kind of have an idea of who's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, if it hits the deck, Muniz is going to take it. If the first 3 takedown attempts doesn't land, he's in for a very long night.
Yeah, and give me a quick taster as to what your prediction is for the main event. Obviously, it's always a little bit more spicy when the fighter that I'm speaking to has got the title fight ahead of him on the card. So how do you see Adesanya versus Cannonier going?
Oh, well, I mean, it's going to be cracker. I mean, Cannonier is a beast. Izzy is obviously incredibly good. I think Cannonier is going to have to fight Izzy at his own game. I know Cannonier's wrestling is just not a level that he has what it takes to take down Izzy. If you look at Robert Whittaker, how Whittaker out-wrestled Cannonier, it's going to be a very, I think Cannonier is going to throw those power shots, and it's MMA at the end of the day. If he lands his power shots, Izzy's in trouble, but I just don't see him landing. I think Izzy is too fast, too slick, and way too tall for Cannonier. Cannonier throws with a lot of power, less precision, and I just think Izzy's going to piece him up. I think he's going to catch him with a lot of low kicks. I think he's going to catch him until Cannonier starts having to throw desperately, and that's either going to get him a shock knockout, or he's going to get knocked out. And like we've seen with Izzy, if you get impatient, that's going to be your end.
Do you anticipate by the time you get to the real top end of this division, like top 5, top 3, that Adesanya will still be the champion?
I certainly hope so.
Is that a fight that you would desire?
I would love that fight. I'm a Springbok. He's a Kiwi. In rugby, we have the biggest rivalry. South Africa is the best rugby nation in the world. We've beaten them in the World Cup, and I will do that as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. I've got to end. I know you're very busy, especially so near to fight night, but I've just got to end because I've seen a lot of comments talking about a song. A lot of people want you to walk out to a song called Sister Bettina. Is that correct?
What? Let's see. What song?
There's a lot of people commenting asking you to walk out to a song called Sister Bettina.
I have no idea what that is.
Sister Bettina is your new walkout song. There's been hundreds of people. I'm not entirely sure of the answer of the song either.
Sister Bettina, I have no idea what that song is.
Oh, okay, no problem.
No idea whatsoever.
I presumed it was something from South Africa or something like that. For there to be so many people commenting on it.
Maybe, but I have no idea. Sorry, guys.
What is the walkout song?
Already chosen. Live It Up by Airborne. It's always been the walkout song. Nothing gets me fired up like that.
Oh, says Sister Bettina is the national anthem? It's a South African national anthem song?
No, that is not
national. Anyway, not that it matters, but I thought you would know that, but evidently not.
Oh, no.
Listen,
sorry, guys.
Thank you so much for your time on Fight Week. Apologies for the tech issues at the start, but it's
no
great
worries
to catch
at all.
up.
Only a pleasure.
It's great to catch up after 12 months away. It almost feels slightly poetic that the first time we spoke was before Giles, and now we catch up before Tavares. But have a great rest of the Fight Week. Have a safe weight cut, and look forward to seeing you back in action on Saturday night.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Have a great day,
everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.